Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the audio commentary for the pilot episode of Futurama. This is Matt Groening.
Greg Vanzo, co-supervising animator, director.
John DiMaggio, voice of Bender and other characters.
David Cohen, executive producer, head writer.
And Rich Moore, co-supervising director and co-director of this episode with Greg.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, and Matt and I wrote the episode, I'll say.
This is a tough thing to get the show off the ground, and pilots in general, I think, probably are pretty tough for everybody. But to do a show where you're setting up a story that takes place 1,000 years in the future, and what we tried to do is we tried to lay in a lot of little secrets in this episode that we would pay off later. Should we tell some of them or just leave them?
Maybe we'll just point them out and let people figure them out for themselves.
Just say secret.
There's a cool one coming up in just a few minutes.
What's great about this, tip of the hat to Rough Draft, is how good this looks. The first episode is the show's evolved a little bit, but it doesn't look like a different show.
Rough Draft is our animation studio, by the way.
Right, that's us.
That's my parents' home address, 405, different street, but that's where the number came from.
Wow!
So
Everything is of significance.
Millennium.
This idea came to me in the shower, I remember thinking about it in the shower one morning.
Now, the fact that they're doing the countdown for the New Year's all around the world is a little bit of a stretch, but...
The idea that they're in different time zones, yeah, it kind of
Secret.
later.
Okay.
That's going to pay off in a few years from now. Matt, I remember an early drawing you did that looked just like this. Your conception for this scene was in your mind early on.
And I have that drawing.
This is inspired, by the time machine. This is great.
Is that another secret why that building didn't get destroyed?
Sure.
Yeah, another secret that you don't know.
It's so secret that there's not one person on Earth who knows the answer. The script changed a lot, really a lot, from early versions to this, but we finally decided that it was kind of thematically important to end. We wanted to end this cold opening at the moment Fry was in the future. It seemed like that was the big change in his life, and we decided this was the place to start the main titles.
That's the first shot of New York, correct?
Yeah, that was the first 3D shot that we animated.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, really? So that was sort of an experiment, whether you could do that or not.
And here is the introduction to the theme song. I think the funkiest by far on the air of any other show, period.
Well, this opening sequence, when we saw it for the first time fully animated, we thought, oh, this is too fast. You can't even see what's going on. It's too crazy. It was
now
great.
It's like, bring it on.
Yeah. Directed by Mike Smith.
Yeah, he
Great
did
animator.
Fantastic job.
In one of the early drafts, when Fry first woke up, he was immediately dragged to an auction where he was bought by the professor for spare organs. Another kind of goal that Matt and I had early on was we were going to have all this cool technology like they have in Star Trek, Star Wars, but it was going to malfunction like technology always does. So, we're going to show those sliding doors, but they're going to hit you in the head.
I think this is the first time we see Leela.
Yes.
Now, Matt, you had another thing Matt had early on was the idea that he wanted this one-eyed, beautiful character. Where did that come from?
No, I just thought it would be really cool to do a sexy babe, a science fiction style heroine, and but give her one eye and see if we could still make her comely and attractive.
Are there?
She is, because I've seen her on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway.
Oh yes, my friend.
So, Rich and Greg, are there difficulties in drawing a one-eyed character? What problems did that cause?
Well, at first we thought it was going to be difficult, but now we've gotten used to it. It's pretty easy to do, right, Rich?
Yeah, it's
like you use the hair to cheat it a little bit.
Yeah, learn cheats. The hair and getting expressions like a frowned brow is difficult, but once we get down the expressions,
like a sad eye and a frown eye are a little tricky.
Yeah, hopefully she never gets a front haircut or.
There was another long scene here in the pilot, actually, which was even partially animated before we decided to rewrite it, where this complicated device was hooked up to Fry's head when they were studying him, and we saw all these scenes from his past, including his birth and him going off to college at Coney Island. His guidance counselor, that's right.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff.
We were very overambitious at the beginning, and we really had probably about 2 hours of material for the pilot, and realized we could not possibly use it all.
Was this the highest rated debut in Fox history? Am I mistaken in saying that? I think it was.
I
I don't know. I can't remember. It did really well, and much of the surprise of Fox, because they were very alarmed by this show, by this episode. Because David and I went in and pitched this thing, and everybody got really excited, and they ordered 13 episodes on the spot. And they said, "Well, let's show us what you got." And all we had was some notes for this script, and they couldn't understand, because we said that we didn't want the future to be dark and drippy like Blade Runner. But we didn't want it to be bland and boring like the Jetsons, and they loved the Jetsons. They said, "Oh, this is the greatest," And they couldn't understand how the future could be fun with, a one-eyed alien woman and a crazy...
And the suicide booth.
And a suicide booth. They said, "Why are people lined up to kill themselves on New Year's Eve if this is so great?"
The decision we came to basically was that if we wanted to be able to do any kind of commentary on life today, then the future had to have good elements and bad elements. It couldn't be a utopia or a total dystopia.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, a utopia or a complete dystopia would be boring after a while.
Yeah, that line was originally JFK Jr. Airport.
That's right.
But unfortunately...
It actually aired once with that guy saying he wanted to go to JFK Jr. Airport, and then there was the tragedy with JFK Jr. in the plane crash. So we decided that because it both mentioned him and an airport, we should change it.
Is our only Simpsons reference, right?
What was it?
Blinky the Three-Eyed Fish?
Oh, that's
There you
right.
go.
That was a joke that went around and around, how him coming out of the tube, that he was going to hit a mattress or something at the end.
Okay, we didn't want to kill him?
Yeah, it was lots of different ways.
There was another early version of the script in which Fry woke up and went straight to Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty for processing, and he fell out of the head of the Statue of Liberty, and the Statue of Liberty moved and caught him. These are all the things you missed, viewers.
We got to bring those back.
The coin-op suicide booth was inspired by a Donald Duck cartoon in which Donald Duck went to a museum of the future, and he did all these coin-op devices that injured him.
I have to admit, we've kind of let the idea of these chips fall by the wayside over the years, and people kind of take the jobs they want, and we dodge this issue. But it's an interesting idea.
No, they have chips.
They have the chips.
We just don't talk
We
about
don't
it.
show it. We don't show it or talk about it. They've come back once or twice, but turned out not to be that pivotal in our universe. Old Fortran is a joke on Old English. And look at that. That's a critical thing in the background there, that sign for Slurm.
Rosetta Stone.
Exactly.
And that's a real belch, by the way.
What does that say, drink?
It
or
says drink.
slurm?
It's the alien language letters say D-R-I-N-K, drink Slurm. Elsewhere in this episode, we showed a banner all in English that said drink Slurm. So that was our clue to people, how to translate those 5 letters, D-R-I-N-K. Based on that, they translated all of the alien language within a couple hours of this being on the air. We thought it would be more challenging than that, but people were pretty on the ball. So we later introduced a second alien language, which is much harder to translate, and people finally got it, but only after...
Did they get it?
Yeah, they got it. It took a few months, though.
Wow.
We may have to do a third one that's computationally difficult to translate.
Costume? Yeah.
Matt, any specific place that the heads and jars came from? The idea?
That's a standard
Kind of a
science fiction
standard.
cliche. Yay!
There's Matt's appearance in the series. I remember Matt just taking glee in the idea that so many years down the line, we could still make a living making fun of Richard Nixon.
I was so mad at Nixon, as a kid growing up. I was just such a jerk. To be able to if I could have known back then that, in 1999, I would still get to make fun of him. Would have made... It cheered me up. Actually, the nose thing, that was it was hard to get the designers to draw her nose that big because they thought it was hideous. That it was
Always wanted drugs.
that cartoon heroines must have little tiny noses.
If any at all.
How did the characters' designs differ from your original sketches, Matt? I know Bender had antennas that were like ears early on.
Bender's, except for, he had little ear antennas. But that's pretty close. Bender's pretty close. Fry's definitely been cleaned up, but I have this theory about animation design that what makes memorable characters are characters that you can identify in silhouette. You look at the characters on The Simpsons and in my comic strip Life in Hell. If you put them in silhouette, they're still very easily identifiable, and I tried to do the same thing on Futurama as well. So that's why Fry has those two fork things in his hair, and Bender has a little antenna, and Leela has her ponytail. Oh, and Fry's wearing James Dean's outfit in Rebel Without a Cause.
What were the animation difficulties in making Bender speak? He's the only robot, for the most part in our show, that has lip sync.
We tried doing a test where his mouth just lit up, when he talked to the syllables of the dialogue.
Just didn't look any good, or what?
Less expressive for a major character, I think, to not have lip sync.
Let me ask you something. Now, you said it was this James Dean's outfit from Rebel Without a Cause. It's kind of funny because we had the premiere at the Griffith Park Observatory.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
It was on the planetarium screen, which was really an amazing experience. But it was our little tribute to Laser Zeppelin or something like that, I guess. But that's kind of interesting that you say that little thing.
And then that night I visited Sal Minio's grave.
Back up above there was some alien graffiti. That was our test to see if they had translated the language. It said, "Venusians go home." And sure enough, they were able to translate it in one airing.
Wow.
Old New York.
You see this drawing here of Bender's angry eyes? One of our producers, Claudia de la Roca, and I used to just laugh. We were just laughing uproariously when we watched this animation when it first came in. There's something so funny about him for no reason
so
having
mad.
that evil eyes.
No friends.
My whole world is gone.
The master of the lean-in. Call him.
Yes.
A lot of storyboard artists will ask on a Bender line when they're boarding a show, like, should this be a lean-in joke? Like, no, just a regular joke.
In some very early conception of the series, Fry wasn't even a delivery boy. He was a night watchman at the cryogenic lab at one very early point.
We went through a lot of agony to figure out how we were going to get this show off the ground, figure out what the premise was, and that he's a delivery boy in the future, and what the whole series is about.
We also considered making him captain of the ship at one point instead of Leela, but it seemed like it'd be more fun to have him be an underdog.
Wasn't he in an early version a soldier or something, like an army man? I remember drawings that you had of
You're
him.
thinking of G.I. Joe.
No, you may be right. You know what? I can't remember. I'll have to get out the notes. I can't remember. That'll be in the book, in the coffee table book.
And this is the reveal of...
Professor's First. That's really Dick Clark. Actually, there's a whole bunch of stuff with Dick Clark that we just could not use because we didn't have enough time to get it on the air, and it was very funny. The heads of Sha-Na-Na.
Dick Clark was a really good sport, and he came in and he read the script, and like you said, he had a lot more lines to read, and he said, "I have no idea what I just said. I don't get it, but I take your word for it."
I love this machine that seems to be the only use that it has is for people to
It's a nephew detector.
stick fingers in and detect a relationship.
With a little light bulb.
This is, if you compare the professor's voice here to subsequent episodes and seasons, it really changed a lot.
This is just the introduction of the ship.
Yep, first appearance of the ship.
If you'll notice, the ship has an overbite like all other characters.
One of the interesting things about the ship and other parts of the show is that certain things like that are done in 3D computer graphics, but then blended in with the 2D, which is not easy to do and still make it look like you're drawing.
Big joke. Big joke.
Yeah.
Big
Secret.
Secret phrase comes to mind.
Fox didn't like that joke either, did they?
I doubt it. If I had to guess.
Didn't they use it in the promo?
Oh, you reminded me of one other funny thing from Fox. From the very beginning, when Fry's in the probulator, we had a note from the Fox censor, and I quote verbatim, "Standard caution on the probulator." We never figured out what that meant, and apparently, though, they'd seen the probulator in many other episodes of other series, and they had some standard comment about it. A little inside joke there that in the future, the French language is gone, and they just speak English in France.
That whole sequence, I think, came out really good. I remember seeing it and hoping, God, I I hope we can do this on a weekly basis.
Is that a speaker right there on the floor?
Yes.
Without a cover on it?
Yeah, without a grill.
That's
But that's not important. The important thing is.
That was a little improv by Billy West there that we left in.
Oh, really?
That poor Sons of. So, Matt, what do you think now, looking back at the pilot? How does it hold up?
We did a good job. I mean, everybody did. It's great voices, great writing, and great music.
And
Kristen did a great animation. Incredible animation. Unlike anything.
The thing which has changed.
I just got to talk to you about Curiosity Company, the production company for this thing. I use a film of my father's called The Study in Wet, which he made in 1964, using that little bloop, 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 or as water drop sounds. And it's a tribute to my dad. That's a reflection of a surfboard.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Secret.
That's
Excellent.
a secret.
Who came up with the 30th Century Fox?
We suggested it, and Fox initially didn't want to do it because it cost a lot to make that.
Fox didn't want to
logo.
do it at all, so David and I paid for that logo out of our own pocket. And and then
Later they decided they liked
it
it.
kind of embarrassed them that we did that, so they paid us back. But originally we believed in this show so much that we
Paid the $50.
I think the pilot holds up quite well. I'm happy to say I hadn't seen it for a while, and it does hold up pretty well, I think.
I've paid to have it aired during the Super Bowl.
When we wrote that line, we had high hopes that we would be premiering right after the Super Bowl. However, we did not.
Every time I see this, I remember the original cold open that we had for this featured the original Planet Express ship captain, Captain Cameron, who very quickly got angry with all the new crew members and then immediately died. But it was felt to be too dark.
This is much cheerier.
This show was going to be much, much darker. The original ending of that had him putting on a hat with a gigantic bird feather in it and walking away.
A big pimp hat.
Interestingly, in the original script we wrote, Hermes was named Dexter, and he was not Jamaican.
No?
So he wouldn't have been our favorite Jamaican if we had stuck by that. Matt Groening decided he should be Jamaican.
Hooray.
Didn't we actually get tracks where he didn't have an accent?
Yes, we re-recorded several episodes after that.
That was the tough part about this scene, was introducing three of the minor characters very quickly.
Is this the introduction to Dr. Zoidberg?
Introduction.
David, this was your idea.
Yeah, part of the inspiration for the name, at least Dr. Zoidberg, was a video game I spent most of my high school years working on for the Apple II, which was called Zoid. So Zoidberg is an homage to that wasted 3-year period.
But where did the idea for the character come from?
The idea for the character was to make him sort of a reverse of Bones McCoy on Star Trek, who was a human who often had to treat aliens like Mr. Spock. And I was thinking, if I were Mr. Spock, I really would not want someone from a different species operating on me. So we decided we would have this doctor who did not understand human anatomy operating on our guys.
I believe this is the first time Bender's head came off.
Until I just watched this right now, I forgot that Amy was an engineering student. Hey, coming up here is a hilarious improvisation by John DiMaggio as Bender, which really helped solidify this character's chances, I think, in our minds.
Well, we did a lot. We had a lot of auditions for the part of Bender. Just about everybody who came in auditioned for Bender, even if they were auditioning for other parts. And we could not figure out what the robot should sound like, and you nailed it. That's the voice you did. That was great.
No, John, I auditioned for Bender. Are you aware of that?
Really?
That is true. In a moment of desperation, after about 300 other auditions, several people told me I sounded like a robot, so I figured I would audition. But the second I sat down in the chair and was told to talk in my normal voice, I forgot how to do that.
You're doing it really well now. Oh, this is a good visual job.
Beautiful shot.
I just love the way the shots of the moon look in this also. It's like, I never saw the moon look so beautiful in animation. It had just enough detail on the craters and all that. It has kind of the beauty of the real moon, but the simplicity of Matt's drawing style at the same time somehow. Hey, John, do you notice that Bender's voice has changed a bit over the years?
Yes, I do. Little liberties taken here and there.
Some of the other people also, the professor certainly.
In the ever-changing hallway outside the cockpit door.
There's a guy who has a website on that is blueprints of the ship, and he gets mad at us all the time at how
Drive him nuts.
it fluctuates.
We used to talk about whether we should have a very organized plan for the ship and for the building, and then we just gave up.
One of the artists the other day was asking me which way the stars would be going outside of Bender's window, and I don't know.
I got you guys refrigerator.
Oh, this is the introduction of folk singing.
Yes,
That's right. And Bender's kryptonite, magnets.
It astonished me that we were able to get the rights to do Blowin' in the Wind, but not, we wanted If I Had a Hammer later, and we were not able to get that.
Pete Seeger. Is that who it is?
Why, no, Mr. Seeger was a fine, upstanding gentleman.
Hey, what did that say behind it in the
Alien language. Tasty human burgers.
What's amazing to me is what number is this? 2? How good the animation is this early in the life of the series, and how close it is to the way the show looks now.
Yeah. Leela's nose has changed a bit, I noticed, though.
Wow, it really has changed.
It's very different.
It really has changed. I just realized how much. You know what? I guess that's just because you start to watch it, you know? I mean, I'm a fan of the show myself. I mean, I don't get to see them until they're on the air, so I think that has something to do with it. I mean,
all the voices they've honed in a little bit on what were the funniest aspects that they started. They all had it in at the beginning, but I think they all definitely got sharpened up.
There used to be a really good scene in there where Bender was hiding out in the Whalers on the Moon ride.
I was thinking that, and where he hit on the woman.
He's hitting on the saucy wench robot.
Oh, yeah. At the time when we wrote this episode, we would have debates of 4 and 5 hours about, is it too unrealistic to have this yokel on the moon and that kind of thing. It was like, we were really not that sure whether we could do something this goofy.
Well, what always bothered me was that he had a shotgun in a glassed-in dome, you know?
That's in Total Recall. That's in Total Recall. The thing I remember is we counterbalanced it by having him speak very realistically about how long day and night were on the moon.
Wait, are you using Total Recall as a standard of reality?
As far as I know, it is.
I remember Fox got a letter of complaint about the scientific inaccuracies in this show, including that the line between the dark side of the moon and the light side of the moon was moving. And this teacher, it was a science teacher who wrote in saying that how dare we misinform America's youth. Little did she know that this episode was written by Dr. Ken Keeler, PhD, and that we actually did a fairly good job with the realism of the day and night moving and the length of the day and stuff like that. So some things are accurate.
Well, Ken Keeler wrote a letter attacking himself, I think, actually.
And I believe the single least realistic thing in the entire episode is right here.
What do you mean?
The way they jump the gorge. It's like,
Matt Groening, you had objections to that early on. How do you feel in retrospect, the gators with space helmets on?
I was wrong. No, it's really funny. I have this thing about animals being realistic, and of course that's really funny.
So they should have had.
But I didn't like the banjos during the chase scene.
We kept fitting them out.
Yeah.
Actually, this music right here is by Christopher Ting, the composer. Very nice homage to Pink Floyd as soon as Fry mentions Dark Side of the Moon. Always like that. And here, one of my favorite shots from early in the history of the series. I always thought that was just such a beautiful drawing of the telescope. The shading is so sophisticated compared to, again, any other animated show I had seen before. I really was moved when I saw those drawings.
That
shadows.
professor joke I thought was going to recur a lot more often.
We thought so too.
Yeah.
Originally, they were going to find the original moon landing site, and I believe Neil Armstrong's head, for inexplicable reasons, was going to be there, and he would help them flee from the farmer across the moon. But cooler heads prevailed.
Now, Ken Keeler, you will remember the huge problem and the logical error that we, the writers, made with this whole section of the show and only caught at the last minute.
No, I recall us...
I'll tell what it is.
The sign?
Yes.
I thought we caught that early on.
No, actually, I think it was around the animatic.
That's embarrassing.
No, we knew what the lem.
That it wouldn't still be there because
Right.
it blasted
Would
off
not-
the surface.
And none of the
Exactly.
footprints would be there because of the blast.
I can believe
That's less clear.
we haven't gone back
The
to
flag.
check that out. But just that the lander's there, yet it blasted off into space when they left the moon. And we caught that fairly far down the line and added a sign which comes up in the background here somewhere to placate our nerdiest fans.
but it didn't.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another audio commentary of Futurama. This is Matt Groening.
I'm Eric Horsted, writer and co-executive producer.
This is Billy West. I do some of the voices on Futurama.
I'm Brett Holland, director. Greg Vanzo, supervising director.
David Cohen, executive producer.
And Rich Moore, supervising director with Greg.
This is the third episode in the series, and this is a series that it had a trouble beginning with the Fox network, who felt that the show was too outrageous and too much outer space. So this was our attempt, the third episode, to bring the show back to Earth.
Bachelor Chow, Matt, one of your earliest ideas for the show, I believe.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I've always wanted to have Bachelor Chow right now, and so this was this. Now, anyway, the network really was freaked out by the show with the suicide booths and lobster creatures and Bender being so antisocial. And so again, this was our show just to tone things down. This script was written specifically to their specifications. And their reaction, David?
Worst episode ever.
Yeah, they really hated this script. And sorry, Eric. and this was the point at which we decided that we're going to do the show that we wanted to do. That their notes made no sense anyway. They were completely contradictory, and so we did what we wanted.
I've heard a lot of people say they really like this episode, actually, though, because it is a little more down to earth, and it made people care a little more, I think, about the characters of Fry and Bender.
I have to admit, it was one of my favorite episodes, so I liked it.
I basically had fun drawing Fry's butt.
We all do.
So, Billy West, you're talking to yourself in this scene as Fry and the Professor. Where did these voices come from?
Well, you guys showed me the drawings originally, the model sheets of each character, and he was like, you could tell he was doddering and rickety, and I even act him that way, and he's got like a little bit of Wizard of Oz in him and a little this or that. When I fused them...
It's funny, when we're in the studio, you do take on sort of the characteristics physically of the voice you're doing.
I don't know if that's the way to do things, but I've always thrown myself like totally into it.
Why aren't you answering my questions in the voices of the characters?
Can I do it again?
Well, the professor sounds like this. And he's all rickety and he has a race of superhumans.
Too late.
Yeah, okay.
We all know what he sounds like.
This is the first episode we get to see Calculon. That's
Yes.
pretty exciting.
Television history was made.
That's Maurice LaMarche as Calculon. He's always really funny whenever he goes into that role.
He's one of the greats, though.
I had a rather peculiar perspective on this setup. I was trying to get a little bit of depth, and this one worked out a little better. You know, in these early episodes, we're all trying to nail the characters as best we can, particularly Leela.
Yet I can see she's changed a little bit since that picture.
That Fry voice is a 25-year-old me. No, I mean, that's pretty much what I sounded like, I think, back then.
We'll bill you for the coach.
That line, I remember, I don't know, if the astute viewer may have noticed that Hermes' lips were not moving at all there. I remember it just seemed kind of quiet, and we wanted him to say something, but we had already exhausted our animation budget. So we just said, whatever.
Who's going to notice?
This is a very difficult sequence to draw because of the rotating beverages and the number of martini glasses and the cutting and the
yet
hooking
it comes
up.
in many other shows later on, too.
And you mean, by number of martini glasses that made it difficult, you mean the number that were on your desk when you were drawing?
Are there, is there subliminal things that you put in a scene like this, or am I imagining things?
Oh, no.
This wasn't one of them?
Too many late hours to have any extra time.
To get clever.
I have to say this, that Bender is the greatest character. To me, he was like the breakout character because he can get away with doing all this stuff that you're not supposed to see on TV because he's a robot. Smoking and drinking and debauchery.
I'm not going to go into the full answer to this question, but the nerdiest, computeriest viewers out there might want to look up Bender's apartment number in the ASCII chart. That's right, you heard me.
This was probably the best shot to describe how small Bender's apartment was, the aerial down shot.
You know, it's really hard in animation to do a confined space. That's really good.
Kill all humans.
first use of kill all humans, perhaps?
And not the last.
This conversation always sticks in my mind as one of the most memorable early sequences.
Bathroom.
What?
Ah, never.
Little nuances, little body language, details.
On the studio, we called that snappy whistling.
Yeah, but how is he able to whistle? He's like a whistle chip in there somewhere.
These are some of the early drawings of the Planet Express ship where we didn't have any 3D to work off of, so we faked a lot of this.
You're going to redo it, though, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this will never be in the DVD, of course.
Things I like about this is the storytelling is a little bit more linear than on The Simpsons, and I think we decided to do that early on because the setting is so fantastic and science fictiony that we really tried to tell a story straight through, and I think it really has helped the show over its lifespan.
Oh, it's a bad drawing.
There's enough distractions there, to keep you away from noticing.
Like Fry's stomach.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think we see more of Fry's stomach in this show than any other episode.
Watch Fry's belly grow throughout this episode.
And this guy's belly's sticking out also. It's an epidemic.
Is the restaurant guy John DiMaggio too?
That's John DiMaggio.
And he's also the voice of Bender.
Yes, the apartment manager here, actually.
He does a great slob,
Yeah, I've seen it.
This is my favorite background coming up here.
Inspired by?
Escher.
MC
Escher.
Or Esky, as we call him.
Nice touch with the music. And earlier, there was a little musical interlude that sounded retro-y, like on Bewitched or one of those shows.
Yeah. It's, Christopher Ting, our composer, really has come up with a lot of great music for the series.
Now, can I admit something? I've never seen The Odd Couple. I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Well,
No.
well, then we also made up that cigar joke that you're seeing right there.
No, I noticed everybody howling with laughter at the animatic, so I assumed that this was a dead-on parody.
Well, not exactly.
Who was it? I remember when we first seen this, somebody was very upset that that nice chair was getting squashed up. Does anyone remember who that was? One of the designers, I think?
Tom Gamble.
Oh,
wasn't it?
Tom Gamble, one of the writers. He appreciated
upset.
furniture. He really didn't like seeing it crushed like that.
Don't understand. It's a nice chair. Come on.
That beautiful drawing.
Perfectly
of a
good
beautiful
chair.
Well, by that logic.
This whole thing doesn't make sense.
You notice Fry's fairly thin there. He'll get quite a bit thicker.
Oh, yeah.
One little goof we've made in the history of the series is involving lowbrow beer, because when Fry first got frozen in 1999, he had a lowbrow beer in his hand. But when he woke up, he is often subsequently seen to be drinking lowbrow beer. I guess it might not be a mistake. It just survived for 1,000 years.
It's just
One
that
of the
good.
carefully planned things in the series was the success of lowbrow beer.
The recipe has been in our family for several generations.
Buster Keaton said in an interview that the audience loves a slow thinker.
What?
It applies to almost everybody in the scene.
So Eric Horsted, you showed this script to a bunch of school children the other day. This is true. This is true as a little inspirational talk on how you can get a career writing. How did this ass part go over?
It actually hasn't happened yet. It's
Oh, it hasn't?
happening on Friday.
How
So
do you envision it? We'll go over.
I think there'll be lots of giggling and an appreciation of the fine achievement in writing that's occurred here.
What style of animation is this? I know that there's traditionally like cell drawings and hand-painted stuff.
Hand drawing.
Does anyone know?
I mean, this is like this is a departure from all that stuff, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's do hand drawing, and then it's digitally painted in this show, as opposed to The Simpsons or something.
Yeah, that's what I meant, like hand-painted cells and
Yeah.
that. So those have been pretty much replaced?
Yeah, pretty much. It's almost the same process, but it's all digital now, so.
So the initial drawings are by hand, but the coloring by computer.
Yeah.
Would that be a good summary?
Yes, exactly. There you go. And then we have the additional of all the 3D elements that we do, the more realistic elements, which are not in this show too much at all, but in other episodes much.
This is one of the earlier jackets that Leela had which I think we all tend to favor her pilot's jacket a little more in the later episodes.
It kind of looks like a little petticoat or something.
Yes.
How come the lights in front of him and the shadows in front of him?
That's the future for you.
Could have been a brighter bulb behind him somewhere.
This was tricky, I remember. Showed these microscopic things somehow.
It's very true.
Thank God for Bender's focus out eyes.
This was difficult to pull off a drunk Bender.
Great shot.
It's easy for us to write 5 o'clock rust in the script. At least easier than for you to draw it.
We actually broke a rule here, as we're never supposed to bend Bender's neck, but it looked kind of funny and sad and pathetic, so we did it anyways.
It looks funny. This always sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
It's like The Lost Weekend with Ray Milland.
Public library, that's great.
That 3 o'clock in the morning lounge music. And
Do you think do people get that owls are a nuisance in the future? Have we laid that in enough?
We started out laying it in a lot, but
I met somebody about a week ago who was really into that.
Really?
They were very excited about that.
excellent.
That rats are gone, but owls are everywhere.
Owls are now the new pest.
well, didn't the new owls ate Fry's potpourri and his new digs in New York?
Did that make it on the air? I don't think that made it on the
it
air.
did.
I think we had to cut that for time.
Wow, I remember reading it. And how much time do you cut out of an episode sometimes?
Often entire sections.
Stuff that's been animated?
Entire painful sections.
Yes.
We, as part of our deal with Rough Draft, Rough Draft people can correct me if I don't have it quite right, but I believe we get to get 2 minutes of animation beyond what will fit on TV. Is that right?
Right, just about 2 minutes, yes.
So that's how much we cut out. But however, often we don't really cut out 2 full minutes of stuff because we will take out a little pause here and there or pull someone's dialogue over an exterior shot of the house. So, for example, if we saw their house, then we cut inside, and they started talking. Sometimes we'll start them over the exterior, that kind of thing, to save time. So we don't usually really cut 2 full minutes out.
And there's also entire speeding up of scenes or sections of the show, right?
Yes, in emergency, we have the computer technology to actually speed up whole sections of the show. Very rarely used, actually, on this show. The Simpsons uses it a little more. A painful thought is that for syndication, you have to cut out another minute or 2. And a lot of these stories are pretty complicated and are going to be very hard to edit down. We'll just apply that computer speed up, though. Hey,
Or don't syndicate them.
what would Billy? What would the professor sound like if we sped him up 50% or so?
Well, it depends on how you do it. If you use the electronic gadget, you can have it in real time and the voice doesn't speed up.
Suppose we use the Billy West gadget.
The comedy
A
version.
big difficult.
Do the voice
I know.
Good news, everyone.
So basically what we're saying is that if you're watching this in syndication, then you're not getting the whole thing. So we recommend buying this DVD. Thank you.
Hey, this is the part that's always in a half-inch by half-inch little box in the corner of your TV screen.
I can read.
I know people who wait till the end of the show and they've got a magnifying glass right near the TV set, and they want to read who did what.
Animators? Hey, Space Pals. Welcome to episode 4 of Futurama. This is Matt Groening.
I'm Scott Vanzo, director of computer graphics.
Brian Kelly, I was a writer.
John DiMaggio, voice of Bender and other characters.
Brian Sheasley, the director of the episode.
David Cohen, executive producer.
And Rich Moore, supervising director.
Scott, lay some discussion of the 3D on us while we're watching this fabulous 3D coming up here.
This title is kind of difficult for us to create. It has over 80 levels of 3D animation that are composited together, a lot of cheats, and probably the biggest single scene that we've ever done, or at least we treat it as a scene. So I don't know what else to say.
How long did it take just to animate that 28 seconds or whatever?
I think we did it in about 4 or 5 weeks altogether. With 2 3D people and myself directing, as well as Mike Smith, who was directing the title.
And how long does it take, out of curiosity, I don't even know the answer to this, how long does it take to render one frame of that kind of degree of 3D computer graphics?
We split it into a lot of different levels because it was taking so long, and that way we can fix things a lot easier. So I would say probably about an hour a frame for that title.
and 30 frames per second. So that adds up.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly, I have a question for you.
Yes, David, go. I'm not going to start on my own.
50,000 quadloos on the newcomer.
I saw your name go by as writer. You were in as a freelancer to write this episode.
That's right.
I happen to remember, it's a day which stands out in my mind because I quit the day you came in to write this episode. So
Yes.
I imagine it was kind of interesting to walk in and have a sort of a confused maelstrom of activity going on. Of course, I came crawling back about 5 days later, having gotten some sleep, which was my main problem. But what was going through your mind? Did you think this whole show was going down the tubes or what that day?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was my initial impression, and, you know, history bore it out, and I was correct. No, I'd always dreamed of writing a Simpsons, and so when you guys asked me to do this, I was really thrilled. And that ruined it all, but
it has come full circle now that you do write for The Simpsons.
I do, yeah, it's a few months ago. So by the time you listen to this, I will have been fired.
Well, we paved the way for that fire.
What's actually interesting is that's Billy West's voice doing that. He has the ability to hit those kind of. There's no effect on that.
Yes, there were two. There's like two notes going at once in his voice. You're absolutely right. That's not processed. That noise came out of Billy West's mouth. On that subject, Billy was in to record an episode recently, and we had to shut down the operation for 10 or 15 minutes because we thought there was some feedback problem because we were getting a second note like that. And they rewired the whole studio before we realized that it was Billy's vocal cords acting up a little bit.
I remember on that janitor that we just did that there was an original funny voice because we were kind of going for a Scatman Crothers on there, but it got changed later on.
Who was the genius that came up with the idea of dark matter?
Well, that was David, right?
Yeah, I thought of it before Einstein.
Well, you thought of it as the fuel.
Yes,
like employing it as a
that's
fuel
true.
substance.
Yes, we wanted to think of something which was not well understood, so that no matter what we said about it, people couldn't dispute it.
It's strange how much the voice has changed. I said it before. I'll say it again.
Is that deliberate or is it just?
No, I think it just happens. The introduction to Zap.
Zap Brannigan, Billy West as Zap, Maurice LaMarche as Kiff Croker. Matt, you had some ideas about these characters early on, I think, when you were a one-man show here.
Well, I just thought that it would be nice to have an alien assistant who was totally frustrated and passive-aggressive. It seemed like Mr. Spock should always be moaning in exasperation at Captain Kirk, and so that's where this came from.
Zap seems kind of half Captain Kirk, half actual William Shatner.
Exactly.
That's the way it was described to me originally. Was when you gave me the script, it was pretend that William Shatner is the captain of the Enterprise, not Captain Kirk, and it described it perfectly.
I think this is the first time we see the Nimbus as a 3D model, and I think it came out really well. It's one of my favorite models because it has the fewest number of moving parts.
He wasn't coaxed.
And the 3D modeler told me that there's over 2,200 windows that were put on that, so I had to put that on there.
Is that true?
2,200, yes.
So it's actually rendering all 2,200 windows.
That would be Eric Whited, the 3D modeler.
Well, now that I know that, I want to know what's inside those windows. On a big screen TV, I want to be able to see what's inside every one of those windows. You guys you're slacking off over there.
That's the next format. You'll be able to, DVD is not good enough, but there'll be a new format coming along soon. And
I like this close-up on Zap there.
A lot of these poses that Zap is sitting in his chair are taken from Captain Kirk. So there was a lot of reference going on there.
When Matt was designing Zap, every time he would draw a revision, the skirt would get a little shorter.
well, you guys made me tone it down actually, because he used to have really sexy go-go boots, and the skirt used to go out it used to flare out a little bit more.
It's interesting about Billy West's choice in this vocal quality. It's basically based on a disc jockey that loves the sound of his own voice. A guy who likes to sit and listen, and every syllable just rings true.
This was a tricky episode at the beginning because we weren't 100% sure how adult the show should be. So coming up with this bed scene, which ends this act, was very. It seemed like it might be too risque. What do you think, Matt? Did we go over the line with this upcoming stuff?
Well, we established our line. Yeah. No. No, I thought this was a turning point in this series because this showed that we could we could take the heroine of the series and really degrade her and still have people like the show.
Bender gets modest whenever he's in like a steam room or a hot tub.
This is actually the first time where I think we went to another planet where we could do something with color and sky and the trees and everything around the environment.
I don't think we have any two episodes where the phone technology is the same.
They have several different types.
It dials sometimes, with or without picture. In this one, there's 16 numbers on the phone, like 25 maybe.
The part of Zapp Brannigan was originally meant for Phil Hartman, and we knew how great he was, and we said, you don't have to come in and audition. But he said, no, he wanted to. And he came in, and of course he nailed the part, and he was ready to go, and then... was killed just a couple weeks later, and it was, incredibly sad to see this guy who, when he came in, was so full of life, so much fun, and I don't think I've ever seen an actor enjoy himself as much as Phil Hartman did. Not only his own work, but obviously the people who he was playing with.
And I should add, regarding Billy West, who ended up doing the part, he came into audition also, and he does it the way he did it when he came into audition. He never was doing an impression of Phil Hartman. We let him do his take on it once Phil wasn't available, obviously.
I think when you see the design and you read the lines, that's the way to go.
Right. A couple episodes ago, it took them 1 second to get to the moon. Now, apparently, it's going to be an overnight journey, the last mile to Earth there.
Oh, I love this cold opening.
Really puts things in perspective.
This is a good one.
From up here, an entire world can seem utterly insignificant.
And I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think, that won't work. But it turned out great.
The name Blurns Ball actually came out of this kind of joke the writers had where we were working so hard at this point in the history of the series early on that we didn't have enough days in the week to write the shows. We were working 7 days a week, so I put up a schedule that included Blurns Day as an 8th day so that we'd have time to get the job done. That's where this came out of.
The original name for this show was not Futurama, by the way. There was a long, long list of possible names. The only two I remember, which were resoundingly rejected by everybody concerned, was Doomsville was my number one choice. And my number two choice, and I don't even know why I thought this was a good idea for a name, but somehow Aloha Mars struck me, and that was also not
That would be a
particularly.
name for an episode, maybe.
Are there actually any rules to Blurns Ball that are definite?
It's starting to evolve a little now that we've seen it again in some future episodes, but overall, I think the goal is to keep it just out of the realm of understandability.
Sort of like baseball.
Exactly. Part of the inspiration for this episode was a story by one of my favorite authors, Stanislaw Lem, Polish comedy science fiction author. It's a really funny short story he wrote, which I don't remember the name of, in which a human crash lands on a planet inhabited by robots and has to hide in the bushes eating berries at night. Sounds funny, doesn't it? In that one.
Well, you know what? Actually, it's
Scaring Matt. David, stop.
The fact is that this show is full of references to literary science fiction. It's not just rip-offs of Star Trek and Star Wars.
Is that Phil Lamar's voice pitched down a little bit?
You know, it's so electronically processed that I can't remember who did them.
I think that's Phil.
We went through a huge list of possible baits that humans would like. Most of them had whipped cream and sprinkles and stuff. Decided that the combination of butter and free was the ultimate bait for a human.
Sad to think that most of these people are dead now. God. They were great.
We had a lot of debate early on about whether dollars should still be the unit of currency in the future. There were various possibilities like quatloos and bucks, B-U-X, and joules, J-U-L-E-S, that the energy unit would be traded as money. That was one idea.
I don't know if anybody just noticed that, but Billy West was the voice of the cashier at the beginning of that, and then Dave Herman was the voice of the cashier at the end of that.
Is that true? Did we screw up?
No. Yeah. I think yeah.
Because I remember David Herman doing the voice. but we may have had something sneak in. Some early conceptions of the series, the entire Planet Express operation was going to be a subsidiary of Momco.
Is this the introduction of the police?
No, they're in the pilot.
Oh, that's right. They are the pilot.
Before I came to work on Futurama, I was working on a screenplay about the Mona Lisa. so I felt obliged to work her in the script. So.
The idea, which I don't know if it dates to Star Trek or earlier, that robots can be destroyed by illogical statements, was obviously a big inspiration to Futurama.
The original draft of the script was not about anchovies, it was about Pop-Tarts. It changed for the better.
Them all. We kept saying one more can't hurt, and then they were gone. We're sorry.
Billy West as the voice of Dr. Zoidberg. A genius.
Also in an early draft, Fry was supposed to get another robot friend. He was rich enough to get an all-wood robot named Deluxor, made of hand-carved wood. But
I miss him.
Well, we'll put him in. We can always build another episode and put him in.
I believe we lay claim to the most gasps per episode of any show in TV history. We had a lot of debate early on about whether there would be 3 sons or 2 sons. But the rule of comedy 3 won out, as always.
Originally, Richard Nixon's head was supposed to help them in their recreation of what the 20th century looked like. But that was cut out. Here's a piece of trivia about this episode. It actually has the highest cumulative rating of all Futurama episodes, because it actually aired in all 3 different time slots.
Get ready.
This caused a lot of debate, this area, because we were trying to decide if Bender could taste anything, which it's been resolved in later episodes that he cannot. But nevertheless, he seems to find some trouble with the pizza here.
He's just being one of the guys. It also caused problems because Amy mentions that she's had cow and that cow is extinct, and we had to build off that in future episodes.
Well, she had it in a can, just like they're having anchovies in it. So, Stuart Burns, you wrote this episode. Where'd this car wash thing come from?
Right out of my head, I guess. This was one of the last things, actually, I put in the script.
And yet the first thing on the air.
I know.
That doesn't sound possible.
It's like a good detective story. You start with the end and work backwards.
We used to do a lot of those cold openings early on, but then I decided that people needed a loud wake-up call when the show started, so we decided to just come in with the music on most of the later episodes.
So, David, why the X? Why is it David X. Cohen?
You don't believe that's my real middle initial? That is a completely fraudulent addendum to my name. What happened was, when we started Futurama, all of the animated shows on TV suddenly came under the jurisdiction of the Writers Guild, which is the union of TV and movie writers, and they will not allow any 2 members to have the same name. And unfortunately, some other jerk, David S. Cohen, had the nerve to be in it before me, so I had to junk my S and come up with some other fake initial.
And I know you both.
Do you know the other David Cohen?
In New York?
He's a good guy. I've met him. We've traded checks several times. I figured X would make me the David Cohen people remembered.
I actually just used a J in front of my name to sound snooty. So.
Boy, we're the 2 phoniest writers in town.
So a lot of people may not know this, but this is actually patterned after some chef.
Some chef with a widow's peak.
At early conceptions of the series, Bender was going to be the chef in every episode. That was going to be his main function in the show. Then we canned that. Then he was going to be the translator. Then it turned out it was funnier just to have him being a lazy bum.
And then full circle, he became a chef again.
He's a chef again. It's more of a hobby. This way he can have like 100 hobbies, like folk singing and cooking, and can pursue them as it suits us for stories.
Generally in animation, I hate it when characters are walking down the street, but this is really funny. This is really good. This is a joke that the network didn't like.
Crazy this section of the show is reminds me that originally this was going to be the 2nd episode of the series. The idea that I will not spoil, but which is the central premise of the episode, was one of Matt Groening's earliest ideas for the show. And we were going to do it right away, but then we decided we better do a couple more down-to-earth episodes as the 2nd and 3rd episodes, and this ended up moving to slot 7.
That was when we ran out of other ideas.
Exactly.
Dave Herman is a great utility infielder voice. The incidental characters.
That was him as the salesman, and this is Maurice as this guy here, I believe, Maurice LaMarche.
Look at that, it's episode 7, and already, like, we can make fun of the fact that he says good news all the time. That was the first catchphrase that actually got used enough that we could make fun of using it.
The first catchphrase that got used enough that we got tired of it and had to start warping it.
Funny warps, though, that came out of that idea.
To serve man.
Star Trek, right?
Oh, Twilight Zone.
I just assume everything's Star Trek on this show. Now, this, if I remember, took like a day to come up with the idea of the slug shrinking to finish this story off.
By the way, for the people at home, a day is a really long time. We don't really have a day to devote to each 5 seconds of the show.
It involves like 5 meals.
Hey, how come Fry's head is so wide there?
Just an anamorphic lens.
How come Zoidberg's head is also kind of wide? I'm just trying to distract from the sloppy early writing.
Well, you're not alone, you know. I'm looking at wincing at a couple of things here and there. I don't, you know, like some of these voices that are the characters have changed. They've morphed a little bit. But that's happened to me in every cartoon. You start one place and then you begin to groove with it. And
well, although it happened 30 seconds ago, when the ship lands, the sound you hear is a bus's air brakes. So
that was something I remember you always like to have the technology have one bit of kind of a crummy malfunctioning aspect to it.
Or homage to old Popeye cartoons with the turntable background.
That's a beautiful shot.
One thing I never understand in our show is why they always land the ship really far away from wherever they're actually going to. So anyway, as David was saying, this is one of the first ideas that I came up with when we were doing this show. We talked about doing a science fiction animated show, and I said, wouldn't it be neat if we had a delivery boy in the future who, when he got to the planet, drank the Emperor? And that was basically the first story.
In the original version, I think he just drank the Emperor, and then they got mad at him. And we realized that only occupied 14 of our 21 minutes. So then we came up with the additional twist that Fry became the Emperor in between here. Seemed to fill things out pretty well.
And 14 minutes shrunk down to about 5 seconds of it looking like they're out to kill them.
Who's Dr. Zoidberg's voice modeled on? Anybody?
Yeah, the kind of George Jessel. He was an old comedian, radio comedian, vaudeville, and he had the voice that sounded like it was stuck in his, like a potato in his throat. And he would say, "Hello, Mama. This is your son, George. From the money each week?"
How did you know about Georgie Jessel?
How do I know about him?
How do you know about? I mean, how did you hear him?
I'm practically 50, Matt.
Well, so am I. But the only reference to Georgie Jessel was they would imitate him on the Johnny Carson show.
Shoot, I missed that. I've seen films of George Jessel. Even a long time ago, I watched him whenever he was in a movie. I'd pick him and go, that guy's got a weird voice.
They were on right before Star Trek, Matt.
Yeah.
Of which Matt's a big fan.
Well, you're referring to the fact that I've never seen Star Trek, which is a shocking admission, I know.
Do you know that I've never watched the news in my life? I've never seen a newscast.
I've never read a newspaper.
I've never not been watching Star Trek at any moment.
I didn't finish Gravity's Rainbow.
We originally had a much longer thing here where every single member of the crew tried to make him cry, with their sad life stories, and Hermes was going on for a while about the troubles of being a bureaucrat and so on. Hey, Matt, how come the show is set in the year 3000 instead of like 2281, like Star Trek or something like that?
It was just because it was simple on the freezing tube to set it for 1,000 years. Was there a better answer? I don't know.
I think you used to claim it was some kind of excuse for technology to be...
Oh yes, I remember that answer. Yeah, we could by setting the show so far in the future, we could justify any technology we wanted. And if you'll recall, in the pilot episode, we showed the Earth getting destroyed a couple of times by flying saucers and civilization being rebuilt. So that's how come it's not incredibly technologically advanced. We still have light bulbs and battering rams and other old-fashioned and Drusomatics.
What's this? How did people pitch those jokes?
We just
Is there a pool?
The writers just, on a slow day, once in a while, we'll just have all the writers sit around, draw up a list of those, and then really, it's pretty hard to get one through. Maybe we probably use about 1 out of every 20 that are suggested, something like that. When we were first conceiving the series, Matt and I both were interested in doing things that were pro-environmental messages, and we've been trying to do at least one episode per year with a really nice environmental message, of which this is one. I don't know if you'd say really nice, but an environmental message. Interesting thing about this episode is that as originally written, correct me if I'm wrong, Lou, it was much, much longer, and it had originally introduced the character of Q*bert, the professor's clone.
True.
And really, I think about one night before we had to record it, it was 10 pages too long, and there went Q*bert for another season. There was a whole bunch of stuff about how Q*bert was embarrassed of his father, the professor, and could they make up by the end and that kind of thing.
It's just so much fun to watch this because the writing is so great, and every step of the way, the show takes a leap upward. And I love the writing, but I love the voices, and I love the animation, and I love the music, and all together, it's just amazing for such a show that's complete fantasy. How much you believe what's going on.
1 month my toilet broke, and I just went straight in the garbage can.
Controversial joke among the writers, animators, everyone involved.
I feel so bad about myself now.
Really? Really? That was it?
Some people felt that was too dumb, even for Fry.
Originally, at this point in the script, there was they brought in the world's greatest pool player, or the universe's greatest pool player, Arcturus Fats, to properly shoot the ball, make the balls collide the right way, so they would go into the sun. And he was cut. And instead we had a joke where Fry's too dumb to press a button, which is much better.
It's
much
surprisingly
funnier.
funny
Yes.
for how short and stupid it is.
Oops.
That was Matt's suggestion, and again a late change to it.
What, that he misses the button?
Yeah.
Yeah, the most obvious target.
There's like 3 huge rings around it. This is another one of those things where when we wrote it, we didn't know if you guys could do it because we hadn't seen any animation yet at the time we were writing this, and then we saw it and we were blown away. Whenever a mayor makes a speech, it starts with, "and so." This is the first episode that's really centered on Bender, right? In the series? Is that true? No, well, there's the robot planet.
That's
I guess.
Riches, the
sort of
bomb
divided up
and
more. I really think this was an important episode in the series because you realize that you could care about Bender's emotions for the first time. This song was written by Eric Kaplan and Ken Keeler. Incidentally, Ken Keeler has won 2 Emmy Awards for Best Song for songs he wrote for The Simpsons. And the music was written by Ken and our composer Christopher Ting. And great performances by both John DiMaggio and especially Dan Castellaneta starring here as the robot devil. There actually was another long verse of this. Eric, do you remember what else was in the verse that got cut?
Seduction by a Nun Machine, I think. Seduction of a Nun Machine? I don't remember.
Wow.
There was a whole extra plot of this where Leela is studying the theremin and is being taught by the Beastie Boys.
That's right.
But the trouble with that was it made the episode an hour and 10 minutes long.
The trouble or the good thing about it?
It could have been a 3-parter.
I remember describing this episode to somebody when we were working on it, and in the middle of it, I just stopped myself and I was saying, wait, they're in robot hell and the Beastie Boys are there? It's like,
just very good.
What happened in 9 episodes we got to this point? Eric, would you say we really just kind of loosened up in the writing right around the time this episode was written?
Yeah, I would say so.
It really feels much more like the later ones. It's a little more comfortable in terms of we allowed ourselves to do some crazy things that were fun.
Pretty good.
You know, what really gets me is sticking to the rules with the robots and not making them too expressive.
Yeah.
I think it really helps to make it believable.